Hello everyone, how are you all doing? I hope you are all doing well. Today, we will discuss the life story of one of the key stars of the 2026 FIFA World Cup winner, Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal, a name of a dream. Part 1. Before the beginning, with a question. How difficult must a person's journey be for them to stand on the stage of winning the World Cup at just 19 years old? How does a child overcome poverty, a broken family, and thousands of obstacles to become the hero of an entire generation? The journey of today begins in search of the answer to this question. Imagine a moment, a massive stadium in New York, the screams of hundreds of thousands of people all around, Spain facing Argentina in the World Cup final, and the scoreboard showing 1-0. The ball is at the feet of a player whose age is only 19. Yet, there is not even the slightest fear in his eyes. As if this stage had been created only for him. The name of this boy is Lamine Yamal. Today, the whole world knows him as a World Cup winning star, but his story began in a poor neighborhood of Barcelona, in a home where the kitchen and the bedroom were in the same place. In today's episode, we will go back to those beginnings, from the story of a child to the birth of a legend. This story will have struggles, it will have a broken family, it will have a mother's sacrifice, and it will have a belief that taught a child to say, "I will become a footballer." Let's begin from the very start. Part 2. Birth, the meeting of two continents. July 13th, 2007. A child was born in a small town called Esplugues de Llobregat, near Barcelona. His name was given as Lamine Yamal Nasraoui Abana, a name that carries within it the story of two different continents. His father, Monir Nasraoui, was the son of an immigrant family from Morocco, and his mother, Sheila Abana, had her roots in the small West African country of Equatorial Guinea. Both of them had arrived in Catalonia during their childhood, holding their mother's hands, in search of a new life. Lamine's paternal grandmother had escaped from Morocco to Spain alone by bus, passing through Algeciras and Granada before eventually reaching Mataró. After that, she worked day and night and saved money so that she could bring her son and daughter to Spain as well. The story of this struggle runs through Lamine's blood. He himself later said in an interview that his family's history was, in reality, the history of building a new life. Even Lamine's name carries a story of gratitude. It is said that just before his birth, two people had financially supported his family, and as a sign of respect toward them, he was given this name. Three cultures, Spanish, Moroccan, and Ecuador-Guinean, came together to create a child who would one day become known to the entire world by a single identity. A footballer who never forgot his roots. Part 3. Childhood, a broken family, an unbreakable love. When Lamine was only 3 years old, his parents separated. It was the first major setback of his life, although at that age, he could not even understand the depth of what was happening. After the separation, Lamine started living with his mother in the city of Granollers. His father moved to live with his grandmother in the Rocafonda neighborhood of Mataró, an area where nearly half of the people living there were struggling below the poverty line. But the separation of his parents did not take love away from Lamine's life. Instead, both of them remained by his side in their own ways. Several times a week, Lamine would go to his father in Mataró and then return to his mother in Granollers. School, training, and then seeing his mother's face at night. This was his daily routine. His mother would leave for work every morning at 6 o'clock. She worked at a fast food restaurant so that she could put food on her son's plate twice a day. Lamine himself later said on a podcast that, in their childhood home, the kitchen and the bed were in the same room. Sometimes, they even had to stay in a friend's house for shelter. This was their reality. There was no luxury. There was only the struggle to survive. But hidden within these hardships was a strange kind of warmth. As Lamine grew older, he said that his mother taught him to always stay smiling, while from his father, he inherited determination and a strong will. The combination of these two qualities seemed to shape the character of the future champion. Part 4. The first ball, the first dream. At the age of 4, Lamine received his first football. He joined a local club called La Torrita. At that time, no one could have imagined that this little boy would one day take the entire world by storm. La Torrita's coach, Innocent Diaz later recalled that Lamine's talent was different from the very first day. The ball seemed to speak on its own when it was at his feet. But talent alone is not enough. Money is also needed. At that time, Lamine's family's financial condition was so difficult that even the small monthly expenses of the club could become a burden for them. But then, a beautiful coincidence took place. One day, at the restaurant where Lamine's mother worked, she met the daughter of Coach Innocent. Through this connection, the club decided that Lamine's football journey would never stop because of money. The coach himself said, "If the boy wants to play, there is nothing to worry about. We will find a way." This one decision may have changed the course of football history. Lamine's mother wanted her son to focus on his studies, grow up, and get a good job. But little Lamine had a different dream. It is said that one day he told his parents, "If you depend on my job, then our family will not survive. But if I become a footballer, don't worry, I will become a footballer." Such a strong determination from the mouth of a child. This was the true beginning of Lamine Yamal. Part 5. The Call from La Masia. In the world of football, there is a name that everyone instantly understands, a name that represents a life-changing opportunity to enter one of the greatest youth academies in the world, Barcelona's famous youth academy, La Masia. The same place that produced legends like Lionel Messi. At just 12 years old, Lamine got the opportunity to join this academy. It was a turning point in his life. A boy from a small town suddenly stepped into one of the best football training centers in Europe. At La Masia, there was competition every day and the pressure to prove yourself every day. Hundreds of talented children arrived there with dreams, but not everyone could survive. Lamine also had to prove his talent on the field every single day. School, training, traveling. In the middle of this demanding routine, his playing style continued to develop. The magic of his left foot, the famous style of cutting inside from the right side, a style that would later make him known across the world. Within just 3 years, at the age of 15, Lamine reached the doorstep of Barcelona's first team. The football world still had no idea what it was about to witness. Part 6. The Beginning of Records. In 2023, Lamine Yamal made his first team debut for Barcelona at just 15 years old. He became one of the youngest players ever to step onto the field in La Liga history. Over the following months, he continued breaking one record after another, becoming the youngest goal scorer in La Liga, the youngest player to provide an assist, and delivering similarly astonishing performances in the Champions League. In the same year, he also made his debut for the Spanish national team. At just 16 years old, he became the youngest player to represent Spain and score for the country. However, it was not only his age that amazed people. His style of play was also uniquely captivating. That curling shot with his left foot, dribbling that could leave defenders completely confused, and an incredible level of maturity on the field. All of these qualities combined made football experts start saying that this boy could become a legend of the future. Part 7. Euro 2024. The arrival on the world stage. The 2024 European Championship. This was the moment when Lamine Yamal truly caught the attention of the entire world. At just 16 years old, he played in every important match of the tournament, and in the semi-final against France, he scored a goal that went viral overnight, that famous curling shot from outside the box, which became one of the most memorable moments in football history. Spain became champions of that tournament, winning their 4th European Championship title, and Lamine Yamal became the most talked-about face of the team. The award for the tournament's best young player was placed in his hands. On that night of success, his father Monir returned to his own neighborhood, Rocafonda, and the neighbors gathered around to congratulate him. The smile of a proud father. This scene itself showed that Lamine's success was not just the success of one person. It was the success of an entire family, a neighborhood, and a community. But even in the middle of this happiness, life was not always easy. During this time, a tragic incident took place. His father Monir was attacked with a knife while walking his dog in Rocafonda. The news deeply affected Lamine, although his father later recovered. This incident reminded everyone that behind the glamour of stardom, a family still faces the risks and worries of real life. Part 8. 304. The Story Behind a Number. Lamine Yamal has a special way of celebrating his goals. He creates the number 304 with both of his hands. This is actually the last three digits of the postal code of his childhood neighborhood, Rocafonda. Within this small gesture lies a much deeper message. Even after becoming one of the greatest footballers in the world, Lamine never forgot his roots. After every goal, it is as if he wants to say, "Where I came from is what defines me." It is because of this humility and gratitude that not only Barcelona supporters, but even fans of opposing teams have started to love him. Part 9. Recognition of Talent, the Ballon d'Or and beyond. In 2025, Lamine Yamal's name appeared on the shortlist for the Ballon d'Or, the most prestigious individual award in world football. At just 18 years old, he became the runner-up of that year, an unbelievable achievement for a teenager, proving that the football world had already accepted him as one of the greatest players of his generation. During this time, discussions also began around his market value. According to various analytical organizations, he was considered the most valuable footballer in the world, with his valuation even surpassing stars like Erling Haaland. But his impact was greater than just numbers. Every touch of the ball on the field seemed to make the spectators hold their breath. He was often compared with Lionel Messi, and then a childhood photo of his went viral, showing a 20-year-old Messi giving a bath to a baby Lamine, who was only a few months old, during a charity photo shoot. That picture remained like a surprising glimpse of what the future had in store. However, Lamine himself never encouraged these comparisons. He clearly said that Messi is one of the greatest players in football history, but his goal is not to become a copy of anyone. His goal is to create history in his own way. This confidence and individuality are what make him different from everyone else. Part 10. Faith and the Source of Inspiration. Where does the inner strength of Lamine Yamal come from? The answer to this question lies within his family. His mother taught him gratitude and how to live life with a smile. Lamine himself has said that he calls his mother a queen, and that his mother is the greatest source of love in his life. Looking at his younger brother's childhood, he said, "Now I see my mother happy, and I see my brother having the childhood that I always wanted to have myself. That is what makes me the happiest." From his father, on the other hand, he inherited determination, a fighting spirit, and the stubbornness to never give up. The combined influence of these two people from two different cultures and two different continents shaped Lamine's character, humble, yet unstoppable from within. His family's history, his grandmother migrating alone by bus to another country, his mother leaving for work at 6 in the morning at a restaurant, and his father's everyday struggles, all of these taught him to understand the value of life. That is why, even after reaching the peak of success, Lamine never became arrogant. Instead, in every interview, he repeatedly goes back to that small childhood home where the kitchen and the bed were in the same room. Part 11. The 2026 World Cup, the ultimate stage. The year is 2026. The FIFA World Cup is being hosted by the United States, Mexico, and Canada, the biggest World Cup in history. And even before the tournament began, there was only one name on everyone's lips, Lamine Yamal. This young player, who had just turned from 18 to 19, was already one of the most expensive and most talked about footballers in the world. Before the tournament started, experts unanimously said this World Cup was going to be Lamine Yamal's World Cup. Throughout the tournament, he proved why there were so many expectations surrounding him. One brilliant performance after another, important goals, perfect passes, and leadership that carried his team through every match, Spain continued moving forward toward the knockout stages. During this time, he created several new records and wrote his name among the brightest young stars in World Cup history. Just a few days after his birthday, Lamine, now 19 years old, reached the final, with Argentina standing as his opponent. Part 12. Final Night. History in New York. July 2026. Spain and Argentina faced each other on the field in New York, the World Cup final. A battle filled with excitement, where every single moment was about to become a part of history. The match ended with a 1-0 victory for Spain. Spain became champions, winning the World Cup title for the second time in their history. Their first triumph came in 2010 in South Africa. And one of the biggest heroes of this victory was Lamine Yamal. After the match, he expressed his joy on social media, writing that his collection of trophies was now almost complete. Domestic titles with Barcelona, the European Championship trophy, and now the World Cup. Achieving such a mountain of success at just 19 years old is a fortune that very few players ever experience. That night, his parents were sitting in the stands, the same parents who had themselves become parents during their teenage years. From that small home in Rocafonda to the stands of a World Cup final, a long, difficult, but glorious journey. At that moment, it felt as if everything had finally come full circle. Part 13, a symbol, the voice of a generation. The story of Lamine Yamal is not just the story of a football career. It is a symbol of millions of young people who rise from difficult circumstances, whose families leave their own countries and struggle to build a new life. A boy born into an immigrant family, raised in a poor neighborhood, who never forgot his roots, who returned to his old neighborhood even after achieving success, who carries the postal code of that neighborhood in his goal celebration. Millions of people see their own reflection in this story. That is why not only Barcelona or Spain supporters, but even fans of rival teams, respect him. Because his story is not limited to the boundaries of one club or one country. It is a story of human struggle and victory. Part 14. Conclusion. The story is still being written. Lamine Yamal is only 19 years old now. At an age when many people are just beginning to think about starting their careers, he already has the World Cup, the European Championship trophy, multiple La Liga and Champions League titles, and the possibility of receiving individual honors like the Ballon d'Or. But the most important thing is the beginning of his journey. That small home in Rocafonda, his mother's early morning work, running around with his father, the field of La Torrita, the intense training at La Masia, all of these things together created the Lamine Yamal we see today. His story teaches us, dreams do not require money. They require belief. No matter how difficult the circumstances may be, it is possible to overcome them with love and hard work. And above all, even after reaching the peak of success, never forgetting your roots is what truly makes a person great. The story of Lamine Yamal is still being written. Winning the World Cup is only one chapter of his career, not the end. How many more records he will break, how much more history he will create in the days ahead. Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. The little boy from Rocafonda, who once told his parents, "I will become a footballer," has now truly proven that no matter how big a dream may be, with belief and hard work, it can become a reality. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video, subscribe to Aspect English, and share it with others. Your support helps us continue creating more inspiring stories and educational content. Stay connected with Aspect English, and we will see you in the next journey.